Hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. This is Haley Sohn, nutritionist and weight loss coach. And on this podcast, we focus on helping you learn how to lose weight without any dieting. So I'm a nutritionist, but I don't ever tell you what you can and can't eat. I really teach you the mindset behind it and how to use your body's own natural built-in system for weighing what you should, how to use that to your advantage. It's something we all are born with, but we're socialized out of in most cases. So that's what we really focus on here. So today's episode, I'm going to go over the 5 signs that you're an emotional eater. I'm doing this episode because sometimes when I talk to people, there's a big question mark about if they're emotionally eating. And I think there's a lot of A, misunderstanding about what emotional eating is, and B, a lot of like just us not realizing that it's part of what's going on for us at the time, or in our weight loss, in our weight, being overweight, wanting to lose weight. That emotional eating is playing a role there, and it's really important to know where you are so that you can figure out like how to get to where you want to be. We got to know where you're starting off. So this is going to be a really helpful episode. I'm just going to break down these 5 clues that you're emotional eating. The other thing I want to do is call out the dudes that are listening. Every time I talk to the dudes, I'm not an emotional eater. No, 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 that's not me. But if I have a stressful work day, yeah, I am just like snacking the whole time. Okay. All right, you're not an emotional eater though. So again, it's important to know where you are so that you can get to where you want to go. We got to know what we need to tackle and work on. Another thing I'm going to preface this episode with is emotions aren't necessarily bad, and we don't need to take this emotional eating to like any extreme of you're crying into a pint of ice cream because you just got broken up with. Yes, that's a form of emotional eating, but emotional eating can also be I'm super happy and excited, and so I'm eating too much at the party. Emotional eating can be I just had a stressful day and I'm gonna like take a break with a snack. So it can come up in all of these different ways, positive, negative, and play a role in your life in many different ways. Okay, so number one, when you feel X, you eat. And I said X because I'm insert the emotion that you feel that drives you to eat. And what I want you to understand about that is that if you are feeling an emotion and then eating, what you're usually doing there is avoiding that emotion with food. So, one of the things that I'll work on with a client who is avoiding an emotion with food is like, let's get comfortable with that emotion and asking yourself some questions about what that emotion feels like in your body. And that can be a challenging place to start because a lot of times we're pretty checked out from what that all feels like and what's going on there. But just asking yourself some simple questions like, where do I feel? Well, first of all, what emotion do I think it is if you aren't sure? If I had to guess, what emotion would it be? Um, where do I feel it in my body? What does it feel like? And giving yourself like some neutral, like using neutral examples of what that feels like, if that makes sense. So instead of saying like it's I feel like I'm being stabbed in the heart and just something really, really kind of scary or triggering. It's like I feel a prick in my chest. Like you go to the neutral place of describing it. Okay, number two, when you uh when there's no when in my sentence, you feel a strong emotional tie to food, any food. But someone mentions chocolate cake and you're getting excited, you're getting anxious, you're like, where is it? I need to eat chocolate cake now. And then that's all that you can think about. You're probably emotional eating. You have a strong emotional tie to food or a specific food. And then that's all your brain is focused on. That is a form of emotional eating. Number 3, when you have a bad day or a rough day or a long day or however you want to say that, you know food's going to help, or you're thinking about these are all the foods I'm going to have that are going to help me like get over this day. That's emotional eating. So if you have a crappy day and you're immediately planning everything that you're going to eat to feel better, then you're an emotional eater, or that's a form of emotional eating. Number 4, you use foods to self-soothe or get through certain situations. So you know that my example of a guy having a stressful work day and then like grabbing a bowl of snacks and just sitting there and kind of like mindlessly munching on those snacks to help get through that situation. Um, Another example of this is, and I hear this pop up all the time from my ladies, my working moms who have to switch from work mode into mom mode around like 3 or 4 p.m. And they're really that like they're using food to kind of bridge that gap or make that transition. And it's like I have my brain, I just can't like get through that hump, that emotional hump of like, got to shut down work brain and turn on mom brain. And no matter what happened during my workday, I have to be, happy, positive mom now. And I've got to have the food to kind of like help me make that transition and get over whatever happened during my workday. That's a really common one. And that is emotional eating. Number 5, you wake up, and I'm using air quotes there, but you wake up having eaten something or a lot of something, and you're kind of like, what happened there? Like, how did I eat that whole thing? I don't even remember doing that. I don't really remember like grabbing the bag of chips. I didn't realize like I was at the bottom of it. Like, what happened? That's emotional eating. You're completely checking out with the food. So the food is helping you completely disassociate from what's going on in your body and in your brain. That's a form of emotional eating. And that's really just your brain has kind of made this association that the food is going to help us manage this emotion that we aren't able to manage on our own or get through on our own. And a lot of this is really just kind of re-educating ourselves about what emotional management is and how we can do that without food, what emotions are, what they feel like physically in our body. If you are one of these people who says that they're not emotional or doesn't experience a lot of emotions, that's okay. I was one of those people too. But I do want you to understand that being checked out from all of that is probably hindering your weight loss journey. Checking in and getting a little bit more comfortable with your emotions and what's going on in your physical body is going to be helpful on multiple levels. It's going to be helpful with every example that I ran through in this episode, but it's also going to help you begin to get back in touch with your body's natural signals for fueling. We get totally socialized out of being able to listen to our body when it comes to how much to fuel and what to fuel and when to fuel. We're completely disconnected from all of that. So just kind of doing some stuff on the emotional side can actually help you get back in touch with that part as well. Okay? That's what I've got for you today. If any of this rang a bell for you, the worksheet that I've been talking up on this podcast is going to be really helpful for you. It really allows you to get in touch with these are the times when my brain is telling me to go eat, and making a plan for that, feeling prepared for that, and knowing what's coming. So go download that worksheet. It is really, really helpful. And I get a ton of positive feedback from everybody who downloads it. Um, a lot of Instagram messages. So if you're on Instagram, go look me up. It's Hayley, HAYLEY_Sohn, SOHN. That was a total side note though. What I really want you to do is go download that worksheet because it's going to be really helpful. And you can get that at bit.ly, that's bit.ly/craving sheet. That's one S, craving sheet. Go download that now. I will see you guys on the next episode. Bye bye.